Hello, welcome to my channel. I wanted you to look, I skipped ahead, okay? I skipped ahead to the John Doe in July 7, 2003, found between Rifle and Silt, Colorado, 27 years old, because you'll see I'm mentioned in some of my videos, and you're like, who could that be, right? And it says estimated age is 27, estimated year of death is 2003. And it was a skull found July 7, 2003, between Rifle and Silt, Colorado, on the Colorado River by some fishermen. No other body parts have been found for this case. Several people have been ruled out by dental comparison. It's possible the person is African ancestry or Latino, Hispanic, but most consistent with African ancestry. And I wonder, could it be somebody that wasn't reported missing? But I have my thoughts on who I think it is. I don't know if that's who it is, but I have my thoughts on who I think it is. And here's the comparison so that you can see who he was compared with. There's 11 people. So that you have the list of names. And I'm going to show you the person that I think it was. Here's what they have, the artist rendering. And this man, Christopher Michael Collyer, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't see him being ruled out. And I'll show you why I think this might be him. Because in 1999, it's not 2003, he was 19, not 27. He went missing from Rifle, Colorado. He was swimming. During the early evening hours, July 22nd, 1999, 19-year-old Christopher Collyer dove into the Colorado River, swimming away from the concrete pier. As he attempted to swim back towards the riverbank, he was swept away by the river. Search efforts by multiple law enforcement agencies were unsuccessful. Reddish-brown hair, green eyes, pierced ears, scar on back, scar on knee, scar on right shin, black jeans, black pants, red boxers, no shirt, socks. Okay, and then you look at the shape of his face and everything, and then we'll look at the shape of the face of the John Doe. And then we'll go back and forth a couple of times to see if you think that their facial shape is similar. So, that's just who I think it is. Doesn't mean that's who it is. It just means that's my thoughts on who I actually think it probably is. So I just wanted to do that. And then I'm going to mention a lot of people that young men that went missing under the age of 30, I think, or 33. I'm not sure what I did in Colorado, but I just figured, well, he went swimming. And see, this man, he went missing in 2003 in Boulder, Colorado. And Robert Bachman, and it said he was depressed, and it talks about that he was last seen on a vacation trip to a resort in the Rocky Mountains. He bought flowers for a friend. He told he was going to ride his bicycle up Flagstaff Mountain. He's never been heard from again. The day after he disappeared, they found his silver Dodge Neon with Texas license plate abandoned at the South Boulder Creek trailhead at Walker Ranch. His wallet was inside with $50 and his ID. There were no signs of foul play. He lived with his father in Texas and studied psychology at Tyler Junior College. They said he was severely depressed after the war broke out in Iraq, and he was also distressed over divorce, resulting in separation from his 3-year-old daughter. He had a hard time keeping a job. He was upset that he was unable to support his child. He moved to Colorado to be with his mother and his brother. 3 days before he was last seen, he had dinner with his brother and was reportedly incoherent at the time. His father and his brother believe he may have taken his own life by jumping off a cliff or something. They couldn't find him, so there's somebody else. He was musically talented, and I'm not certain if he was ruled out. You can rewind it to see. And then I'm going to look at some other people that went missing as well. Douglas Svensson. I don't know how to pronounce it. He was 38 years old. He went missing in 2003 from Moab, Utah. And I had him in here, so I decided to leave him in even though he's not under my search. Traveled between Utah, Colorado, and California, and he went missing. So I just wanted to show you some missing persons, so that if you have any information, please contact authorities on any of these. And here's a picture of him. And then we have Howard Burleson, went missing from Hardin, Montana. Oh yeah, there's a few of them I had when I was doing a search for that skull. And I'm going to leave them in here as well. And then I have some other young men that just went missing from Colorado. He was 26 years old. He went missing in 2002. Just said he was last seen in Bighorn County, Montana. Black hair, brown eyes. And there's a vehicle. So I'm just going to put a bunch of missing persons in this. I decided to. This young man went missing from Colorado, 2001, 25 years old. No photo. Not sure how to pronounce his first name. Renero, Romo, I'm guessing, but I could be wrong. Black hair, brown eyes. There's really just no information. Arapahoe County. Luis Acosta went missing in 2001, 16 years old. Probably living in Honduras, though. He left a foster home, told him he wasn't coming back. And they believe he went to Honduras, black hair, brown hair. Black hair, brown eyes. We have this Rosario. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. 25 years old, 2001. What does it say? Black hair, brown eyes. Does it not give us any information? No circumstances. Wow, no photo and no circumstances. Okay. So I don't know, he could have moved or something as well. I don't know. Brian went missing from Puebla, Colorado, 22 years old in 2001. He was last seen in the area of 26th and Elizabeth Street and Puebla, Colorado, near Slabs. Not been heard from since. It says he was living on East 13th Street at the time he went missing. Wow. Small picture. I wonder what happened to him. Odell Vest went missing. He was 21. Alaska Native, 5'11", 240 pounds. He went missing in 2000. It doesn't really give any information about how he went missing or where he went missing from on NamUs. And I have too many to go do. Look for the Charlie Project and the Doe Network. Charles Madrid went missing from Puebla, Colorado in 2000. And it doesn't really give any information. Brown hair, brown eyes. So we have a lot of people. A lot of young men. Joel Matthew Thompson went missing from Denver in 1999. He was only 30 years old. Telephoned his father, stated he was in St. Louis visiting friends and buying hiking supplies for his planned trip to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, which runs from Washington State to Mexico. He was going to start in Portland, Oregon area and hike through California. He stated to his father that he would not contact him for a couple of months. After not hearing from him for several months, numerous inquiries and searches were done to try to find him, but he hasn't been heard from since. Brown hair, balding blue eyes. Brown hiking boots. Disposable camera. 1999. Here's a picture of him in case you knew somebody that might have been hiking that might have seen him. Robert Vigil, Pueblo, Colorado, 29 years old, 1999, 6 foot tall. Just says they haven't heard from him since 1999. Driving a light purple 1990 Kia SUV license plate. Vehicle has since been located, but not him. 1997, Shane Kelly Turner, Grand Junction, Colorado. No picture, 26 years old. Leaving his home with another male. May have been abducted. Brown hair, green eyes, 26 years old. Left in a white truck, possibly a Ford. Stephen Martinez, 16 years old, Colorado Springs, 1997. It just doesn't really give any information. Black hair, brown eyes. 1997, Eric. I don't know how to pronounce all that. Greeley, Colorado. Went to a bar with friends in Denver and never returned home. He's never been heard from since. Black hair, brown eyes. You know what's going on here, right? Randall Clark went missing in 1986 from Denver, Colorado, 32 years old. He was homeless at the time that he disappeared. Wow. Mario Sanchez went missing in 1995. He was only 21 years old. Last seen in Aurora, Colorado, June 1st, 1995. He was en route to the Hopi Indian Reservation to investigate the culture there. His parents last heard from him June 7th at 1 a.m. when he called from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was at the home of a family friend, Brandon Felix. His rental car, an unknown year, was apparently recovered abandoned in Gallup, New Mexico on June 13th after being rented in Flagstaff, Arizona. Doors were locked and the vehicle was out of gas. Brown hair, brown eyes, glasses. But we don't know if he's the one that ran out of gas or what happened. Tracy Bastion, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that right. Montrose, Colorado, 33 years old. 1994. He had planned on going hunting with friends, but never showed up. Brown hair, hazel eyes. And Shanty, 1993, 20 years old. There's no circumstances. Just says he went missing from Hotchkiss, Colorado. But he does have a photo. Small photo. Hard to see. 20 years old. Ronald Cisneros, I don't know. Denver, Colorado, 1983, 25 years old. At a party, left to go to another friend's home, never arrived. Had issues with drinking and drug use. I don't know, brown hair, brown eyes. So, Ian Richardson, Denver, Colorado, 1982, only 16 years old. 15 years old, it says, when he went missing. This says 16, this is 15. April 30th, 1982, Denver, Colorado area. Brown hair, brown eyes. Michael McClure went missing, Silverthorne, Colorado, 30 years old, 1990, in November. His roommate reported him missing when he didn't come home to their wilderness condo. He had called in sick to his plumbing job the day before. His roommate hadn't seen or heard from him for more than 36 hours. His vehicle has never been located. Foul play is suspected. Wow. 1990, brown hair, brown eyes, chipped tooth. 1890. Here, I'm going to do the photo. Some of them I might have missed, but oh, it's a small photo, so you can't really see it. And in 1990, Robert, 15 years old, went missing from Colorado Springs, Colorado, July 6th. Ran from a treatment facility, has a scar on his forehead. He was last seen wearing a blue shirt and black trousers, brown hair, brown eyes. And Presley Hall, Durango, California, 25 years old, 1988. Went missing in 1988. That's a long time ago. These photos are fairly small. Okay. Let's see what it says. Oh, no circumstances mentioned. I don't know why. Fabian Rosario, Boulder, Colorado, 1987, 20 years old. Last seen in the area of 30th Street in Colorado, in Boulder, Colorado, 7 p.m., August 28th, 1987. He dropped a friend off near that location, was supposed to pick up his girlfriend when she got off work at 7:30 p.m. He never showed up to pick up his girlfriend from work. He's never been seen or heard from since. A patrol officer located his vehicle in the parking lot of Crossroads Mall near 30th Street and Walnut in Boulder, Colorado, but he wasn't there, and nobody's heard from him since. Wow. Robert Decker, 1987, Colorado Springs, 15 years old. No photo, no information about what might have happened to him, and no photo. Thane, Denver, Colorado, 1986, 27 years old. He moved out of his Denver home. He had a warrant for forgery. He was also the suspect of a homicide. His vehicle was recovered in Hollywood, California in 1986. And they have not found him. They did some age progressed photos. And Matteo Vigil, I don't know how to pronounce that, Colorado Springs, 1980, 24 years old. Matteo, I don't know. July 1980, while hitchhiking to meet a friend in Fort Garland, Colorado, 136 miles away, he went missing. There's a lot of information there if you want to pause it and read it. 24 years old in 1980, and nobody's heard from him since. May 31st, 1980, Jerry Lesser, 23 years old, went missing while rafting in the Colorado River with his friend. And the picture they show is of him. And it's so eerie. The photo is so eerie if that's what happened. And the next one I have is a 24-year-old who went missing in Colorado, 1979. Thomas. Doesn't give any information, but at least it has some photos and some descriptions of his tattoos. 1979, another young man, Michael Hunter, 23 years old, went missing at Fort Collins, Colorado. Doesn't give any circumstances. I don't understand how all these people just went missing. You know. Timothy Witt, Englewood, Colorado, 27 years old. Last seen by his wife. He left home in the family car on a drinking binge, possibly. Uh, yeah, his vehicle was recovered in the Denver metro area. Bone, tooth fragments, shotgun shell fragments, blood, the same type as his, was in the vehicle. So, what happened to him? Mark Bonner, 1978, Boulder, Colorado, only 23 years old. It doesn't give any information. Blonde hair, blue eyes, just disappeared. Michael Owen, Colorado, but it's also mentioned he could have been in Hawaii, he could have been in California, because he liked to travel. So, Randy Brown, no picture, Colorado, 24 years old, only 24 years old. He may have possibly left to go to California. So, may have also taken a bus from Montrose, Delta, Grand Junction. They don't know where he went missing from. Brown hair, blue eyes, and no photo. He was a regular hitchhiker and may have also used public buses. Andy Lepley, Crow Junction, Colorado, only 18 years old, went missing. Says, May 30th, 1976, he opened the Texaco station at I-25 and Highway 165 in Crow Junction, Pueblo, Colorado, where he worked part-time for 2 years. I wonder if that skull could have been him. He opened the station 6:15 to 6:30. He took a newspaper to a restaurant adjoining the gas station. He joked with the waitress, last seen at the gas station canopy. Shortly after, they walked by and they discovered the station was unattended and he was gone. They discovered his pickup was still there with the keys in it. The CB radio and its microphone was ripped out, and all the cash, it was only between $50 and $100, was missing. Do you think somebody could have killed him over cash that was only between $50 and $100? You think somebody's life would be worth more than that? In the days following, they searched for him, and they didn't find him. There was a man that a possible suspect described as middle-aged, white male, graying, sandy-colored hair, blue eyes, and medium complexion, was about 5'11", 175 pounds, seen leaving the Texaco around 7 a.m., said to have been driving a flashy two-door late model car, possibly a Pontiac Grand Prix, silver or white, in color with maroon trim and maroon top. He was towing what appeared to be a handmade plywood trailer, 4 to 5 feet long and covered with a tarp. He told 2 women that he was en route to Wyoming and waiting for the gas station to open. He has never been identified. There's a Colorado college professor who lived in the same county, has since come under suspicion. His wife vanished, the professor did, under suspicious circumstances. So his mother believes that her son caught whoever stole the money, and when he went to call authorities, he was attacked and abducted. He was a senior in high school at the time he went missing. So, and I look at that and I wonder what happened to him, and then I think and I wonder, what might have happened to those other people. 1969, Fort Carson, Colorado, a 21-year-old Robert Newborg went missing. He was in the U.S. Army, stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado, when he went missing. Brown hair, brown eyes. 1933, Joseph Halpern, 22 years old, went missing while he was hiking in the Rocky Mountain National Park near Taylor Peak. And there's more you can read, but brown hair, brown eyes. 1916, John Gates went missing in Longmont, Colorado, 33 years old. Investigators report husband of applicant, father of children, left home. 1916, for no reason. No, and they don't know what happened to him. He was a good provider, a good husband, a good father. They're afraid that he might have met with some kind of an accident. So, here's a young man went missing in 1885, 26 years old, Colorado Springs, Colorado. And doesn't give any information, but it does have a photo. 1985, Michael Mateer, I don't know, went missing, Boulder, Colorado, 29 years old. Reported missing by a family member. They arrested and convicted a suspect for the possible responsible for his death. His remains have not yet been found. A suspect assisted authorities in an attempt to locate his remains, but the search was unsuccessful. He took them to Green River, Utah. No remains were found. Items known to have belonged to him were found in that area, though. Brown hair, brown eyes. 1985. Why would somebody do something like that? Here's a picture of him. Only 29 years old. I would like to know why they did it. Christopher Harvey, only 14 years old, went missing in 1984 in Colorado. Only 14 years old. Disappeared from a summer home. It was a mobile home, and he went to visit a friend or something. I don't know. There's more information in another video, but 14 years old, he went missing in 1884. Gregory Carter went missing from Buena Vista, Colorado in 1984. He liked his privacy, hadn't been in contact with his family since 1978. His vehicle was found abandoned in 1984 near the Buffalo Meadows Trailhead in Chaffee County. It was later learned the vehicle had been there since May, likely camped, but most of his gear was found at his home. There was a John Doe found at one time that seemed like he had been out there all winter, but I think he was only 5 foot tall. Yeah, that John Doe was only 5 foot tall. And then there's another John Doe that was found in Chaffee County, but there's not much of a description, and I wonder if that could be him. Tom Pfeiffer went missing from Denver, Colorado. He was only 28 years old. He was riding with his girl. I think it was his girlfriend. There was a lady, I think she was 36, and they found her body. June or July, they found her body. They were traveling to Grand Junction, Colorado. They never arrived. And I'm thinking that maybe they got in a wreck or something. It was, 6 o'clock in the evening when they left. It was like a 4-hour trip. Maybe they swerved to miss a deer or something. Or hit ice. Even though it's May, you never know. It's Colorado. Keith Anderson, Hot Sulphur Springs, Colorado, 22 years old, 1984. Last seen at a horse barn in Grand County, Colorado. Mr. Anderson boarded his horse at the barn. He has never been heard from again. His truck was found idling near the barn with his German Shepherd in the back. They found blood in his barn. They heard several gunshots in the area as well. Brown hair, brown eyes. Aaron Moses Standing Bear, 18 years old, Denver, Colorado. And thought to be traveling from Denver to California. I wonder if he was hitchhiking. He hasn't been seen since. 18 years old. Mitchell Hine, Golden, Colorado, 22 years old, 1983. His parents last saw him in Jefferson, Colorado. So he went missing between January and March in 1983. Oh, a friend last saw him in Indio, California, though. He traveled extensive over the next 3 years, working odd jobs, rebuilding boats, car mechanic, oil fields. So they're not. So they mentioned some of the different places he could have been, or some of the different places he went. He was carrying his clothing and belongings in a trash bag. Somebody said he showed up in Clinton, Oklahoma. Then in 1983, he hitched a ride with a friend to California, spent the night in Indio. There is a John Doe that was found in Mecca, California, and that is so close to Indio. And I wondered if that could be him because I think it was 1983. So, yeah, he didn't own a car. Then we have Brian Del Ambrose, went missing in 1882 from Colorado Springs, Colorado. 23 years old. Leaving the Rainbow Motel, he was last seen en route to Denver metro area. His Ford pickup was found, Pueblo, Colorado. Has never been located. Curly sandy hair, hazel eyes. Gap between his front teeth. Douglas Muir, Boulder, Colorado, 25 years old. 1982. He was a student at the University of Colorado. He went to Las Vegas. He phoned his mother, let her know he's out of funds. Oh yeah, he might have went to Mexico. So he could have disappeared in Mexico or near the border or something like that. He wouldn't have actually been in Colorado. John Haynes from Nederland, Colorado, only 18 years old, 1981. He went to enroll as a student in the University of Colorado. Last seen at a 7-Eleven convenience store near Baseline in Boulder, Colorado. His vehicle is missing. Strawberry blonde hair, green eyes. I only have 2 more. Oscar Joseph McNear, Castle Rock, Colorado, 30 years old in 1981. He may have been with Cynthia Atterbury. They may have been missing together. I think they moved there from Springfield, Illinois. And there was a John Doe, but I don't think that's him, but I'm not sure, that had a matchbook that I was wondering if it had been from the airport in Springfield, but I don't know. I don't think it was him. But Roger Ellison went missing. He's 17 years old. Cedar Ridge, Colorado. He was a wrestler on the wrestling team. He went to school, put his books in his locker, and disappeared. And I think the coach lived near the school. And I don't know if he had anything to do with it, but there was, the way they worded it, I think it was on the Charlie Project. I don't know. They mentioned that he was a wrestler. They mentioned that his coach lived near the school. They mentioned that he put his books in his locker that morning and then he didn't go to any classes. So, and like I said, I don't know if that has anything to do with him being missing. I don't know what happened, but he was only 17 years old. So those are the missing persons I wanted to mention. And here is again all the ones that were ruled out for being this John Doe. Because sometimes they're ruled out, and I might put them in the video with them, but I really think this John Doe might have been this man that was swimming. It just seems like. But if you have any information about all of these people, each of these people that went missing, and this John Doe, each of these people that went missing, they're someone's loved one, someone's family member. You know, they might be somebody's son, their brother, you know, it might be somebody's uncle, their dad. There are people out there that love these people and miss them, and they don't have closure. They don't know what happened to their loved one. And, you know, that's sad. It's sad. They've never been able to have a proper funeral, and they don't know what happened. And I just feel like that is pretty horrific thing for someone to have to go to. So these are all young men with family members that, I'm sure they have family members out there that love them and want to know, hey, what happened to them? So if you have any information about any of these missing persons whatsoever, please contact authorities and let them know. Even if you heard somebody drinking and talking, you heard a loved one mention something, an acquaintance mention something, you're not sure if the information is true. It's just hearsay. It's not like you're going to testify in a court of law. Let authorities know. Let the investigators decide what's important and what's not important and what's relevant. And get that off your shoulders so you don't have to worry about it and you just let them know. And don't forget to pray for their family and their loved ones. But anything that maybe you knew who their friends were, who they hung out with, where they worked, where they spent most of their time with. You didn't think it was important when they went missing, but now you're wondering, hey, it's been years since they were reported missing. You don't know how they kept the files. You don't know what kind of information they have. You might have some kind of information that they don't have. That suddenly you think, oh, they might need this. They might need to know this. This might help them, right? Let them know. Contact authorities and let them know. And like I said, don't forget to pray for their families and their loved ones that they don't know what happened. The living ones, people who, if people pass away and you don't know what happened to them, or you lose a loved one and you're grief stricken, that's a pretty horrific thing to go through in itself, but to not ever know what happened, that's pretty horrific. So don't forget to pray for them and feel free to leave comments and have a blessed day.